let's jump into questions. Question number 1. How can I address my daughter's excessive use of potty talk, especially when anxious, without discouraging her from speech or communicating?
So I've been asked this before. Not all children do this. I don't know the age of this child. So knowing the age of the child would be very helpful because I'm assuming this is a young child. Now, if they tell me she's a 15-year-old, it's a whole different story, right? Because developmentally, a 15-year-old shouldn't be doing potty talk excessively. So if this is a young child that's using potty talk, this is really just the way you'd answer it is you don't want to focus on the word talking here because that's my premise, courage isn't loud and it's not about talking. It's about understanding and communicating and communication. So if a child is using inappropriate language, inappropriate behaviors, we have to talk with them about it based on the age, explain why that's not appropriate, and basically discipline as needed. In other words, if they're potty talking inappropriately at an inappropriate time, that's not appropriate. We need to talk to them about it and implement, a process as to how to help them learn not to use the potty talk. And it shouldn't interrupt their communicating. I know we have another question about kind of using words more and kind of talking louder when kids find their voice, some of them. So it might be that, hey, it sounds like you found your voice. You feel pretty comfortable using your voice, but can't use potty talk. It's not nice. It's not appropriate. And then kind of state it and kind of move on. There's a story I've told before about the little boy that was about 6 or 7 years old, and they were out shopping and they were in a lingerie store. The mother had to pick up some bathing suits, and it was a lingerie store, and the child loved the word lingerie. And it was a little boy, 6 years old. And he kept saying, lingerie, lingerie. I love lingerie. And I know it's funny and you're smiling as I'm saying it, but it got to the point where it wasn't appropriate to be saying that all the time everywhere. And I said to the parents, how often do you talk to him about like saying the word lingerie? And she's like, we tell him all the time, like, stop saying the word lingerie. Like, it's odd that he kept saying it, like, at really inappropriate times. Like, sitting at the dinner table at Passover dinner was like, I love lingerie. It just wasn't appropriate. So I said to the parents, you state it, you move on. And then I said, what you want to do is stop giving light to it. Stop giving it so much attention. And basically the parents stopped using the word lingerie and stopped talking about it and almost ignored the child because the child was getting negative attention from it. So every time the child is, in this case, maybe using potty talk, and that other little boy I was working with or I knew about, the parents had told me about, I said, just stop talking about it. Give it no energy. And believe it or not, within 4 days, the child stopped using the word because he wasn't getting attention for it. So you have to say it's not appropriate, but stop feeding it. So what I would say to this mother is don't feed the conversation, state it. If the child's still doing it, they need to be removed from the setting. So they're not going to eat dinner with you. They're not going to go, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's almost just to sort of just ignore it is your advice.
Well, you state it, but you reward positive. So let's say the child didn't use potty talk. You don't want to bring attention, but if the child goes, I didn't use my bad language, parents should say, that's great, that's respectful, and move on. You don't want to feed these conversations, as I call it. You just want to state it and move on. But if it gets really bad, you have to remove the child from the situation and can't reward them from doing it. And you can't ignore it completely. But do you know what I mean? It's a balance.
Yeah, it's like if you say don't jump, some kids will jump, right? So you don't want to.
The same thing with the little light socket on the side of the room, like in the room, some parents or the stove, stop talking about it. You'll see the child poking their finger near it because you're like, don't go near it, don't go near it, don't go near it. Where a really young child that's curious is going to go near it. So you just want to kind of state it and move on. And if it doesn't get better, you put child locks. In this case, so I would try that with the parent. You're not discouraging communication. You're not saying don't talk. You're just saying you can't use that language because we want to make
Tricky subject.
Yeah, it's a tricky subject and it's a balancing act, but it's not about talking here. It's about inappropriate communication.